And welcome inside Studio H here in Los Angeles with the greatest Colorado Buffalo of them all.
Preach.
Chauncey Billups, the legendary leader of Michigan's Fab Five, Jalen Rose.
The original.
And a one-time college student, Paul Pierce.
Inglewood's finest.
Nope.
No, he's from
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
No, you don't know where you're from. You're a man without...
Claimed by the Patriots.
Round 3. Sixers, Raptors, that's in less than an hour. Through 2, Toronto has pretty much looked like a championship contender led by Mr. Kawhi Leonard. The Sixers have looked like a multi-headed monster who could get winning contributions from Embiid or Simmons or Jimmy Butler. Series tied at 1 apiece. Team spoke this morning.
I'd rather be up 2-0, to be honest with you. It's not about one individual, it's about team effort. Mark's done a good job, and we've helped Mark. But Joel's an all-NBA center, all-star. He's a guy who can always get going at any time.
It's kind of hard to, find myself in a one-on-one situation, but he's a great defender. If they're going to keep throwing those double and triple teams, I got to pass the ball.
I don't like shooting threes. They just told me that, actually.
So
they just told me that.
Was that an example of maybe something that you saw as an adjustment, or is it just you were taking what they were giving?
A little bit of both. And, I think my guys were like, you got to be a lot more aggressive.
So, yeah, it's tied up. Joel Embiid, though, a bit of a non-factor. After averaging nearly 25 a game on 51% shooting against the Nets, he's now posting 14 on 7 of 25 shooting against Toronto. Marc Gasol, in particular, a big part of that, holding him to 2 of 11. You hear the points are down, the rebounds are down. Are we talking Joel Embiid's health here, or are we talking Marc Gasol?
Oh, we definitely not talking health.
Okay.
I'm not either.
No.
I'm not giving no pass like that.
Here's the thing. He's my second-team All-NBA center, okay? You said he's averaging 14 and 7.
Yeah, down a lot.
And what we expect from the top players is he should come out and have a big night tonight, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm expecting him to do, because if he don't, you can't be the guy keying at the press conference when y'all win a game and then going against a lighter guy in the first round in Allen and Ed Davis, and then all of a sudden Marc Gasol get added to the team and he's shutting you down.
See, this is why I love the playoffs so much, because the great players, obviously they play, but adjustments are made, challenges are taken. Marc Gasol has been a defensive player of the year. Don't think that he wasn't ready coming into the series to say, I'm going to do the best that I can. But also, we talk about not being in the best shape that you could be in. He has to run to that three-point line to guard Mark, to guard Serge, and then they're double-teaming him. It's just, this is the playoffs.
This is clearly an issue of his knee. We're talking about a guy who's been
Oh.
not good. No,
Wow.
we're talking about a guy that has not only been good, he's been dominant throughout the regular season and in the first round of the playoffs. Now, we saw earlier where he's getting reports of knee soreness. Gasol could not guard this man. He's clearly one of the top 2 or 3.
Not one-on-one.
Top 2 or 3 most dominant players in the game today. He can shoot. He can go down low.
Top what now?
You mean
2 or 3
centers?
You mean center?
Dominant players.
Dominant players.
You know that
Dominant
KD
players.
plays in this league along with James
I
Harden.
mean, KD could be dominant.
LeBron James.
And KD could be more dominant if he didn't have Steph. He could probably average more points.
If was the fifth, Paul, we
This
would
guy-
all be hungover.
He's clearly a dominant player, and he doesn't look himself. He doesn't have the same lift. Clearly, it's an issue with his health.
I'm actually shocked that he's the
No,
one
hands
defending
down.
him.
But you know
hands
what?
down.
That's new.
He's an all-NBA player.
Facts.
For him to
Of
go.
course he is.
Yes.
No,
That's why they're
There's no
disappointed.
way that you can give a guy who's so dominant on the block or outside.
So he can't have bad games. He
Right.
can't have a couple
Right.
bad games. It
He's
just
had
don't
a
happen,
couple of
huh?
bad games.
That's clearly has something to do with his health issues.
He's had health issues
Even in
his
bad
entire
games,
career.
we've seen James Harden have bad games, and he's still putting up 35, 36 points.
That's what we go.
different
That's what we
beast.
want to
And we
see
can
from
say that.
Embiid
We can say that
tonight.
about him. He can play bad when he's healthy and still can give you 25 and 12.
But he's
Easily.
not.
We
I
need
think
to
it's-
see
I
it
think
tonight.
a lot
that's
has
all.
to do with his health, though.
Chauncey said it.
I'm
This
not
is the
taking nothing
playoffs.
away from Gasol. Gasol's a really good defender, not a defensive player of the year. Wasn't the defender he was a few years ago.
I agree
But
with that.
One-on-one, and they're not even like tracking him
it
a
ain't
lot.
There ain't no
one-on-one.
one-on-ones. This is the
Five-on-five.
playoffs.
Playoffs. You know
Figure
this.
out my
Hall of
schemes.
Famer.
Figure my schemes
And
out.
also, a lot has to do with his personnel. You know, he doesn't have the necessary shooting at all times. So
Oh,
it's
now
nice.
here
I
we
like
go.
it.
Now we
It's
going there.
it's easy to corral him in the post. If you don't have
Tobias Harris could shoot.
yeah, Tobias Harris, but when you have
JJ?
Ben Simmons,
Jimmy.
who's a
Who
liability.
is number
Jimmy-
2 on that team, by the way? Who?
To me, it's
Jimmy Butler to me.
I agree with you, Jalen. It's Jimmy Butler. I mean,
Okay.
in a league like Paul said, this guy can dominate. Point guards and wings will bring you the more wins than big men can. So Jimmy being able to play both ends, and we've seen what he did in Game 2.
Right.
He propelled them to a big-time win. So to me, Jimmy's their second most important player.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because go ahead.
I need to ask my final MVP brothers a question. So here's what I've noticed. When they know that Embiid's not going to play or he doesn't make shoot-around or he's hobbled, it seems like Jimmy's more aggressive and he gets off like he did in the previous game. When they both go into the game and they both know that they're going to play, it seems like Jimmy's been a diminished version of himself.
Well, there's levels to it. He got to know that Embiid is the number one option. There's levels to it. He understands it. When he's not in the game, then Jimmy knows he's the number one option. That's why.
And that's gonna get it done for him?
Seems like you should change that right now, playoff time.
Change what?
Just sort of that mental idea.
They
because
shouldn't
it
have to
doesn't-
take turns.
Right. Like I don't.
Y'all was in Boston. Y'all didn't have
because
to
of
take turns. In
Embiid's
Detroit, y'all
presence.
didn't take turns.
Because of Embiid's presence, it allows these guys to be who they are. Because he commands so much attention.
I seen Jimmy Butler be Jimmy Butler before he came to Philly. I seen Tobias almost make an All-Star team with the Clippers. He's not making these dudes. There's no way he's
guys
making
obviously
these
have
guys.
a certain skill set, and they're really good players. But please believe, because of his presence, these guys like Tobias should be a better player for them.
We're not going to give them any sort of leeway as far as they haven't all been playing together forever. We're past that, right?
Well, part of the reason why they haven't been playing together since the trades is because Embiid was injured.
Right.
And so now that he missed a playoff game and he's back healthy, we just want to see him have a great game, play like an all-NBA performer. But in the first 2 games, let's give the Raptors their credit. They did a terrific job stopping one of the most lethal offensive centers that we've seen.
Like I said,
We're not kidding.
it's his health. If he's
When we say
it's his health.
part of that has been Kawhi. He's been a monster so far. 40 points a game, nearly 62% shooting. What's he going to do tonight? Something. Stay tuned. The Sixers, may or may not win it all. They absolutely matter. It's been a few controversial years building up to this point. Our Scoop Jackson's going to break it down, which way he thinks they're headed.
Kawhi back top 3, dog.
Who?
Kawhi back top 3.
NBA Countdown.